Hello, everyone. Welcome to Beyond Life Paranormal Research Podcast. I'm your host, Russell Reynolds, and we got a good show tonight. We have three guests from New Hampshire from Wayward Spirits Paranormal Society. They're here to chat with us tonight about their paranormal experiences and places they've been to, and we'll get to learn about them. Um, let's say hi real quick to everybody in the chat. Hello, Carol. Hello, Katie. Welcome in, guys. Without further ado, we're going to bring them on and let's get into the show. Hey, guys, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
Oh, you're welcome. So tell my audience a little bit about yourselves who aren't familiar with you guys and how you guys got started in the paranormal.
Who wants to go first?
I would say each of us had a little experience, a little something happened to us that kind of piqued our interest, and then we've been friends for a very long time, and we both have daughters, so we're the older ones.
The old people.
We're the old people, and Ashley is our daughter's friend. And we just kind of started talking about it. And I would say maybe it started with Camp Blood.
Yeah, probably.
Kind of horror related.
Yeah.
Anything horror related, we kind of linked up on. And that led into discussions about paranormal, things like that. We used to go to this Camp Blood from our friend Joey. Little plug there. Joey, he used to run like a horror LARP kind of thing, and we were all really interested in that. So that's how this kind of thing started.
Oh, awesome. I know most people get into it from like TV shows. They see Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, and that kind of sparks their interest as well.
Yeah, that's kind of how it started for me, because I know even as a kid, I really always enjoyed my favorite book genre was like spooky mystery. I always found like ghosts like interesting and fascinating, and then started watching all like the ghost hunting shows and everything. And then one day she randomly got the opportunity to attend a ghost hunt, and then it kind of picked up from there.
Yep. Same with me. I was big into horror. Any paranormal show I could watch, I was watching. So it's always been an interest of mine. We bought a house in Nashua, New Hampshire, and that had a little bit of activity. Not scary, but just a little bit of activity. So it always piqued my interest. And then I got the opportunity to, I investigated Houghton Mansion a long time ago, and that was super interesting. And then I got to check out Wilson Castle, and then that just did it for me. And I dragged these guys in, and we've been doing it ever since.
That's awesome. I mean, it's a good way to start. Mine ventured when I was 6 years old. So that's
I would say mine, I would say mine started around very young for experience I had that I didn't realize what it was until I was older, until I started going with these guys and realizing I wasn't crazy, like something actually happened.
Do you all do residential stuff too, for like helping people in houses and stuff like that?
We have not had the opportunity to do that yet. I don't know if with that experience to go into someone's home and try to help them. But but maybe one day we'll see.
We're open to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you do it, go with a group that's already done it. So learn
Mhm.
from them. And we'd be willing to if you want to pick our brains too. We do a lot of residential.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, that would be great.
So
Yeah, we've
we'd
just been doing a lot of the bigger locations. Wilson Castle is our very favorite place to go. We went there quite a few times last year, and it's always fantastic. So much activity every single time we go. So, and then Fort Knox in Maine is our second favorite.
Yep, I've heard of those places. I'm originally from the East Coast, so
Mhm.
a lot of those places. I saw you all were at the Lizzie Borden house. What kind of activity did you get there?
So it was different this time because we went a year ago, and both times have been very different. I don't know if you guys want to take this one.
I mean, a big thing that I found different, the energy in the house is always very strange. Something that was new that we didn't expect this time that we went is they have now added mannequins to replicate how the Bordens were found. And so
Oh,
we weren't expecting those. And that was definitely, it shifted the mood a lot because it kind of puts you there. Because before, when it's just a tour and just photos and everything, you can kind of separate from what actually happened. But when you're kind of forced to look at it and you think to yourself, like, this is like, it really puts you in the mindset of the people that were there at the time to be like, this is what they saw, this is what they experienced. I feel like it definitely made the mood a lot more unsettling the rest of the night. So I don't know if I'm curious if anybody else has had like an increase in activity there since they added those in, if that's like impacted anything at all.
I'm sure it's probably going to kick up a lot of residual energy left over in that house from all those murders with that reenactment.
Mhm.
Yeah. What were the things that we had happen the most there? We had a lot
So
of.
our friend saw a shadow figure
Mhm.
in the Borden's bedroom. So we're still going through our footage. We don't know if we've caught anything on camera yet, but she saw a shadow figure in what was it's the bedroom off of the Borden's room. What was it? Like a closet or something? What was it originally?
In
Andrew and Abby's bedroom off to the side. That second bedroom, was it like a closet?
Yeah, I think it was either like a closet or like a dressing room sort of thing.
Yeah. So someone saw a shadow figure in there. You did. The Estes in there.
Yeah. Alone in the dark on a bed.
We were right outside the doorway. We were not abandoned.
But it's one of the first times I actually felt frightened. Where before I felt, the first time I went with you, you had gone before, I think. But the first time I went with you, I felt a little nauseous, but it was manageable. But this time, it was like the fear of God was putting me.
You were so jumpy.
Yes.
You were so jumpy the whole night, which is not like you.
Yeah, and I don't. Usually, I'm off wandering on my own, and I'm never afraid, and I just feel like I can handle things. But this time, I was like,
Yeah.
Well, Estes will do that to you too because when you got that noise canceling headphones on, you're blindfolded, so all your senses are enhanced.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it definitely felt. I felt an evil presence about, I would say.
I think we were all feeling pretty unsettled up on the third floor when we first started getting going, especially up in the kids' room. A lot of us were feeling ill that night. Just like, I don't know if it was nerves or just the energy. I know we had somebody in our live who was saying that he was feeling certain energy coming through that was kind of like matching up with what was happening with the equipment that we had that was going off.
Yeah, because he was saying there was a man out in the hallway, and then the equipment was going off out there. So the guy that was watching us was pretty spot on in everything he was saying.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've heard it's a pretty active place. I've never got to investigate it myself. It's on one of my bucket lists to do.
You
So
should definitely check it out. We'll go with you.
It's a very cool place.
I'll holler at you when we're up in that area. We're planning a road trip back there. So,
Sounds good.
but what are some of the other places you guys been to that are world renowned?
We have gone to Weston State Penitentiary.
West Virginia State Penitentiary.
We did that. We went to Old Hospital in College Hill, which was crazy. It was insane there.
Yeah.
We went to Mid Orange Correctional Facility.
Been there a handful of times. There was, I think it was it the last time we went? We lost the footage somehow. We were live streaming. We were in this random tool room in one of the buildings, and we just had everything going off. Like, I was under Estes. We had like 4 different flashlights that were all like responding on cue. We had a REM pod going off, and it was just so interactive, and it just felt so intelligent. There was just so much happening, and we were like, we're just getting started. This is the first place we've been tonight.
Yeah, that's a pretty great place. It's huge too.
Wasn't there like a mail slot or something that closed by, like it just randomly closed by itself?
We were in a mail room and something made us jump. It was another investigator pressing the buzzer from the outside. we discovered after jumping through our skin.
Were you able to recover your footage from that, or?
Nope, I have been looking for it for so long and I cannot find it anywhere.
You're not
which is
the
unfortunate.
person that's happened to. From what I hear, a lot of people lose footage. It's something they don't want you to see, so your footage disappears. We've lost footage on cases.
Yeah, we went to Madison Seminary, and we were getting some great activity, but whatever spirit was there didn't want us to film anything, so we had to shut everything down.
Yeah, we believed, because they said that she was a spy.
Yeah.
And so she would react with the music box, but basically like let us know, like, I do not want you to film. So we shut the camera off, and it was just going like on command, on cue. We have audio recordings of it. Just no video, but even though we missed out on the video, we got some great interaction.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know, like, Esper, they had 2 of the YouTubers there, and overnight when they did their fundraiser there, they lost all their footage, headed back. They were trying to review it, and it was all gone.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That stinks when that happens.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Maybe it'll pop up somewhere, somehow. Who knows?
Somewhere in the deep Facebook archives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've also done the Conjuring House.
Yeah. Scandal.
Are we going there? Not opening that can of worms.
We're not involved in any of that, luckily. But
yeah, that's an interesting place in itself too.
Yeah.
After all the drama, I don't get into that either.
It's a great place. We went camping and it was amazing. We had a good time.
Yeah, we did both, right?
We did both.
Stayed in the house, and then we did the camping.
Yeah.
I just saw not too long ago the barn caught on fire up there.
yeah, that was a while after we had been there.
Yeah, it was the barn.
Yeah, the
barn
barn
caught on
in
fire.
front of the house.
They ever figure out what caused that?
It was rags. I guess somebody was painting.
And it was just a combustible liquid that just wasn't stored properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so an accident.
Yeah.
From what we heard.
Have you guys ever been to Waverly Hills yet?
No,
It's
that's
on
on our list of places to try to get to.
You do. I'll tell you, it's definitely worth it. So
Yeah, we've heard great things.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Best thing I can tell you to do is rent it for 2 nights. You can't cover that whole place in 1 night.
Yeah, it looks huge.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's huge. If you do, go to the 4th floor surgery room is one active hotspot that we had. 502, we didn't really get anything at 502. We tried to recreate the flashlight trick. It wouldn't go off. Down in the morgue, we got activity. The body chute. The 1st floor lobby is another good hot spot. Just sit around the table there in the lobby and do like a spirit box session or something. You'll get results.
Yeah, hopefully maybe this year we can get there.
Yeah, we got a good lineup. I
Yeah,
think so far.
we're getting started. Going to Shanley pretty soon again.
Yeah, that's another good place. Sal used to send me invites all the time up there, but I was always so busy I couldn't make it.
Yeah, they say his spirit's still there.
Oh, I'm sure it is. He loved that place. I used to talk to
Mhm.
him and his son all the time. And like, you need
Yeah,
to come here. And then I moved here to Missouri, so I never made it there.
oh, yeah, it's a great place. We went last year. We're pretty excited to go again.
A couple of friends of mine actually filmed a documentary in there
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
We'll have
called
to check it out.
Within Haunted Walls.
All right, we'll check
We'll
that
have
out.
to- yeah,
that
we'll have to
up.
link that to us. I'd love to
Yeah.
watch that.
I
Be
think
part of our
it might be on Amazon still. It was on Amazon.
Okay.
Nice.
We'll check that out.
Yeah.
And a couple of buddies of mine did one on the Conjuring House.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of them on the Conjuring House.
The Devil's Hour production. They did the Conjuring House. Joe Vitale
Yeah.
and them guys.
Yeah, I think I may have seen that. I don't know. I go in a rabbit hole and I stop watching everything.
Can't keep your
I
facts straight. There's too
get
many.
stuck, and then I'm up all night just watching show after show.
What do you guys do to protect yourselves? Go
We're
to-
nice. We're nice people.
It's definitely we try to use. It's more like energy focused. I know we always make like our intentions known and everything. So at the end, we are very distinctly like, do not follow us, do not come with us.
We thank them.
Yeah.
You do any cleansings on yourselves or anything like that?
We haven't had to do anything quite like that yet. So we're
We
hoping.
should probably
We
read some
never
how-to
do.
manuals.
And my advice to you, being you're a new group, start doing cleansings on your equipment, your vehicle, before you leave.
Yeah,
Okay.
you've got some
So-
sage stored up, don't you?
Yeah, I have crystals and sage and whatnot.
Yeah, it's all what your belief system is, but I mean, like your darker demonic stuff, they don't respond to sage.
Mm.
Interesting.
They found their ways up against sage, so
Well, the demonic stuff can stay where they are.
Yeah. We went to what is the James House, right? The
Mhm.
James House in Hampton, New Hampshire, and that was really interesting because we couldn't figure out. I mean, what I thought was a little boy. We were sort of questioning, especially Zoe. You were really good with this. You told me that maybe it's not
Yeah,
a little boy.
that's because she's so kind and loving and giving, and I'm like, you better watch out.
I'm a
Yeah.
sucker.
yeah. When you're kind of like that, if you are dealing with something dark, you're a perfect person for it to latch on to. I mean,
That's
go with respect, but don't be real soft and kind-hearted, because if it isn't a child, the dark stuff like to lie and disguise itself. So
I know you get it. I'm
It's because you're a mother figure. And
I am. I definitely like got roped into that whole like it's a little boy. It's
It's hard because you never really.
I love
know
him and
who
he
you're
loves
talking
me.
to.
me.
yep.
Bring you a cake.
Oh, yeah,
Not
yeah.
bring him a cake.
I know I owe him a cake.
Yeah, you never make the deal with that. Trust me. My family will tell you the same thing too. They got all those haunted objects, Annabelle and all them. So
Yeah. Are they still in the Warrens' house? Like, is the museum still in the house?
yep, it's still there.
And it's not open to the public anymore, right?
No, it's not open to the public. They actually take them out. They're taking them cross country this year.
Oh yeah, they're doing a tour, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be in a couple months here. They'll be down in San Antonio. They'll be at West Virginia State Penitentiary with the objects. And then they're going to be at Rock Island Paracon in October.
Yep. I saw that.
They'll have the whole museum set up there.
So they bring everything with them, or just the most known ones?
Last year, when they came out to Missouri here, they only brought some of the known ones. They didn't bring Annabelle. They brought the Shadow Doll and the Fire Doll, the Satanic Skull, the Halloween masks that were used in satanic worshiping and sacrificing kids.
Wow.
So
Crazy
now
stuff.
they're bringing Annabelle across country. They've got Father Bob Bailey traveling with them too. So
Yeah, I've driven up to the house, but obviously can't get anywhere near it. But I did take a peek at the house. I respected the property. I just did a drive by and a photo and left.
yeah, that's good because they got cameras out there.
Oh, they do, yeah. And I feel bad for all their neighbors because I'm sure it happens a lot.
Yep.
But I was there, so I was like, we're just gonna take a little drive up the street.
Oh,
just a
Zoe.
quick turnaround and a photo.
Yeah.
This one here is the one that gets us. I mean, we were looking for what an abandoned zoo one time.
Oh yeah. Well, that didn't work out
was
very
an
well.
adventure.
Was I there for that one?
No.
Oh, was that at Camp Blood?
Yeah,
we got lost in the
got
woods.
lost in the woods for like 4 or 5 hours, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I've heard of that place, Camp Blood, up there.
And yeah, it's in New Jersey. He hasn't done it in a few years, but we keep begging him to do another camp. So Joey, if you're watching, another camp, please.
Isn't he the one that dresses up like Jason? You gotta survive
Mhm.
tonight.
Oh yeah,
That's it.
it's an awesome experience. It's hilarious.
I saw advertisements for that on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've been after him for years to do it again, so we'll see.
He needs to try to book Kane Hodder to go up there and do it.
Well, that would be interesting. It starts off with one Jason, and then they multiply overnight because they got to catch you, and you're everywhere. So before you know it, there's like 5 of them.
Right. Well, that's like Kane Hodder when he did Friday the 13th Part 7. They were done shooting for the night. He was headed back to a cabin. They had 2 security guards who were supposed to come watch the set overnight. Well, they seen Kane Hodder in full costume walking through the woods, so he decided he was going to walk towards them. Them security guards never showed up.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Interesting.
If you see him in person, he's actually a paranormal investigator as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he has the group Hollywood Ghost Hunters.
Oh, okay.
Him, R.A. I heard Danielle Harris joined it, and then Rick McCullum, who was in Hatchet 3.
Oh, wow. That would be a fun group to join.
Yeah, they do a lot of stuff. Rick's going to be in Tennessee here in, I think, March at a Paracon.
There's so many Paracons this year.
There's a lot.
I know. I can't wait
Yeah, we can't wait to go to the main
to
one.
hit.
Yeah,
We try. It's
My
hard.
buddies-
You know?
my
Yeah.
buddies will be at the main one. Get Haunted. They'll all be up there. Rob and Sarah and them.
Yeah,
guys.
there's a lot of people from Get Haunted going, from what I've seen.
I feel like it's so overdue. We haven't had a chance to do something like this. It's hard too because we all work full time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've been to any of the Paracons yet. I think the closest I've been to is just the New Jersey Horror Con, but that's not really paranormal. That's more horror movies.
Well, those paranormal people there.
There it is.
But
Yeah,
more-
they get
No.
some of them. Like we get Crypticon here in Missouri. They got some paranormal stuff.
Mhm.
We've been asked to do some paranormal stuff out there after hours. So we're going to do a live Estes method.
That'd be cool.
And then Minnesota's got one at their Crypticon paranormal. And then Smoky Mountain Terror that's coming up in, I think, May or June. They've got some paranormal teams out there as well.
See, I just need to not work and just travel to all
Yeah.
of these places. Somebody needs to invest in our travel.
Yeah. Paranormal sugar daddy, basically.
Yeah, it's costing this. Doing this it's a lot of money, especially in the gear.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's an expensive hobby.
And it's hard where we are because it's like there's not a ton of places until you like find one, and as you start digging, you slowly like uncover more. But a lot of the places that are around here are still active buildings, like town halls and stuff, that really only ever do stuff like during the fall seasons. And so we have to travel a lot, pretty much like out of New England for a lot of the places.
And nowhere has heat.
No. So then that eliminates whole seasons.
Yeah.
Right.
And it puts the cost more on us because people are like, hell no, I'm not driving so many hours and freezing my butt off all night. So you need diehards.
Yeah.
In this business.
In our opinion, it's worth it. But maybe not to other people.
Well, that's even for like us. We find that in the winter, it slows down for us a little bit.
Yeah.
We're not getting the calls for home investigations as much. Around February here is when we start getting phone calls rolling in.
Yeah. It's because once the summer's over, it's fall, and then it's the holidays.
Yep, October's our busy season for us too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we like doing Lizzie Borden's in the winter, because it's the off season, so there's a lot more availability. Prices are cheaper, and then because it's local to us, it's not too hard to get to.
And nobody else goes, so we end up with the whole place to ourselves.
And some locations shut down in the winter, like out here, Missouri State Penitentiary, they shut down until March.
Oh, wow, yeah. Yeah, the jail actually doesn't open until we go.
Yeah.
We have to start looking into more New England area things. We try. But, I have a 12-year-old, so it's a little hard to, his schedule. I have to he's the priority, I guess. I'm just kidding.
He can just start coming with us.
I know. I can't wait till he can come with us. But like New England is so old, and there's so many older homes here.
Yeah,
and
one we really, really liked visiting was the Oliver House, which just shut down, which we're very sad to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of history up in New England.
Mm-hmm. And they used to bury bodies in the basement. So that's always a good place to investigate.
The Oliver House? Or
no, at like this.
I was like, in general,
James,
that's pretty common up here because you can't bury bodies when the ground is frozen. Mm-hmm. So where do they go? They go in a cellar.
Yep, exactly. I mean, you got the Revolutionary War up that way. Civil War's been up that way.
Mm-hmm. That was one of my favorite parts about the Oliver House.
There were so many historical ties there that I had no idea about. Yeah, it's so cool too, just finding out all the history about all these old places and just like seeing all the dots connected. Sometimes different locations somehow relate to each other, and it's just finding out the history is really cool because it's stuff you just don't get to learn about otherwise.
Yeah, it's the history in it. That's pretty much what we're looking for too, is history and stories. Especially what makes Gettysburg fun is with that, all the history and the battles and stuff.
Yeah, we're actually planning a trip out to Gettysburg later this year, and I'm very excited about it because it's somewhere I've always wanted to visit.
Yeah, we're going in June.
If you do, hit up Ghostly Images of Gettysburg, Christina.
Okay.
And do the investigations with them. You can do the orphanage, the Jenny Wade house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we booked we're going to the Rainsworth Lodge. So we have that for night.
But the orphanage
should be so cool to visit.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to check that out.
We've done the orphanage. We did the ghost tour overnight. And they actually encourage you to bring your equipment. As long as it's not making noise, they'll let you bring your equipment in.
Oh, cool.
Pick out all our quiet stuff.
Yeah. There's not much of our quiet stuff.
No.
But if you got like tripwire, stuff like that, they'll allow that. I brought my Mel meter in with REM pod. I just didn't turn the REM pod on.
So no music box, I guess.
No music box.
But I think you can also book a private investigation of it too.
Yeah, I think so too. That was just we were in that area, so we just kind of tapped on Gettysburg for a day, or maybe two. We haven't really figured out all of our plans yet. But
we'll see what we can come across, what we can put together.
yeah.
Battlefields, they don't let you in there at night, but you'll get activity during the day.
Yeah. I just like to see it. Just walk around and check it out.
We did at Devil's Den, Little Round Top. I was actually live on Facebook walking through Devil's Den, and when I played the video back, you could hear in the audio boots marching right along with me and horses.
Oh wow.
Oh, that's really cool.
Little
Yeah,
Round
that's-
Top, another good place for activity. I seen a Civil War soldier peeking around a rock formation looking at me.
Oh wow.
Hmm. Interesting.
I'm excited.
Yeah, there's so much to check out in that area.
And then you'll hear cannon fire out there.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we heard a cannon go off and then seen the smoke come up over the trees.
Do they ever do like? I'm assuming you wouldn't just assume it's a reenactment or anything. I'm assuming it's not like a common thing out there for people to shoot cannons off.
Yeah, we tried to debunk that. We were talking to the ranger about it because he heard the cannon too.
Mm-hmm.
He says they're not allowed to do any reenactments out on the battlefield.
That's good to know.
My one video, I caught a figure down in the bloody field, triangular field, and I caught a figure of a Chinese man dressed in Chinese armor.
Wow.
Oh,
I
why-
couldn't imagine seeing something.
What's the connection with that there?
They've had some Chinese fight in the Civil War.
Okay. Interesting.
They've had Chinese, Italians, Irish.
Mm-hmm.
I just couldn't
Yeah.
imagine seeing a figure and seeing all its features.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what I would do.
I have yet to. I've seen shadows. I've seen some weird stuff. I have not yet seen like a full apparition or like full shadow figure. And when that day comes, you're probably going to pick me up off the floor. I don't know what I'll do or how I'll react.
I think I just feel things more. I've always just like felt things. And then just that one time in the basement at the James house, that white,
Oh yeah, you saw that white mist.
yeah, the white mist that kind of traveled
Mhm.
across the floor.
Yeah. I don't think I've really seen, well, except the curtain at Wilson Castle.
Oh my god, that was the craziest thing we have ever seen.
Yeah.
That was, we were at Wilson Castle one night and we had wrapped up investigating for the night. All of our stuff was away and we were deciding where our group was going to sleep because we were at another event companies. We were at a Haunted Nights event. And so we were in for anybody watching who knows the pink bedroom, Sarah's bedroom, we were in there just standing around like, oh, should we sleep in here? Trying to decide. We were all just, it was me, Zoe, our friend Jenny, and our friend Karen. You missed out on this, Lisa.
I know.
I think. And we were just standing around and all of a sudden the curtain kind of like started fluttering a little bit. So we're like, oh, that's weird. So I pulled it back to like look in there to see if there was a draft or anything because the room is closed off right now for like safety purposes and construction.
Right.
It was not at the time. So we went in there and felt like all the windows don't open or anything. It's just full pane of glass. There was a tiny little bit of like cool air coming in from like a panel that was pushed in, but not really anything super noticeable for a draft, but we didn't think anything of it. Went back to just standing around that circle, just chatting. And all of a sudden the curtain just completely, just slowly just bowed inwards and just held its form and just stayed there as we were all just staring at it, just didn't know what to do.
Yeah. We were just silent, all of us, and we're just staring at it. It felt like so much time had passed and we're just staring at it until I finally came to and I was like,
She was the first one out of the room. She
I
was like,
swore,
"Bye, guys."
and I was like, no. It was just the strangest thing to see. And then
Yeah.
once we came to our senses, we're like, why did we leave?
Yeah, no, because it's so hard to explain, but it was just such a perfect arc that looked like everything was smoothed out and ironed and it just held its shape. Like it didn't flutter or move or anything. Like it looked like somebody just backed into it and just stood there. And then, so we obviously ran out of the room. I stopped really quick and was like, we need to document this. So I whipped out my phone and like took a picture of it, and it receded a little bit at that point, but you can still see where, because there was two panels of the curtain, which if I didn't explain this well enough, it's a curtain instead of a door that goes into the ensuite bathroom. So there's 2 curtains. One was completely untouched, and then the other one was the one that completely bowed in. And even that picture, you can still kind of see it held inward a bit. But yeah, then we went downstairs and freaked out to some other people, and we're like, oh my God.
It's awesome.
Wait till the day you get grabbed by something or hit or
Yeah.
scratched.
I haven't been grabbed, but when we did sleep in that bedroom prior to that, I did wake up to something sitting on the bed next to me, and Ashley was right next to me. And when I go to sleep in these places, I sleep under the blankets completely. I commit. Once I'm closing my eyes, they are not opening until it's daylight. That is my commitment, and I've stuck to it. Same with this time, and I woke her up to do a check of the room, and there was nobody there, but somebody sat next to me like they were just checking on me. It was the creepiest thing I've ever felt.
You didn't even wake me up right away, didn't you? Didn't you
Well,
say you tried waking me up?
I was like
out
panicked.
cold?
I don't know. I was just like panicked because I woke up to ringing in my ears, and then something slowly sat down on the bed next to me. I could feel the imprint in the bed, and then I finally got this one to wake up, and she scanned the room, and she basically tells me I'm crazy. And
I don't think I said that.
you lied to me the last time, and the other time we slept there when you
When
told
did
me
I lie?
electricity's running through the walls.
I didn't say it was. I said it was a possibility. I'm trying to debunk it.
Because I have this thing, the bed shake wherever I am. Like wherever I go in this house, the bed shake. And I'm like, do you feel the bed shaking, or am I just crazy?
She like reached over and she was like, feel this, and dragged my arm over. And
I'm
I was
like, see,
yes.
it's vibrating. And she tells me it's the electricity running through the walls.
No,
but the
I said,
bed
is it a
wasn't
possibility?
No, you were like, you were just
You
trying to
must
get me to
have
go
been.
back to sleep.
We hadn't even started sleeping yet.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. To go to sleep. But then when I got up in the morning, the bed wasn't even touching the wall. So it had nothing to do with the wall. So
You know, those electric antique beds, you know.
Well, that's like us. We stayed in this hotel that we investigated. The place is closed down. It's abandoned. Walls are falling in. Ceilings falling down. Well, she had this one storefront, so the rest of my team decided they were going to go to a hotel and sleep. My dad and I stayed the night in this place. We weren't leaving. No running water, electricity. We had a generator running. About 3 o'clock in the morning, generator kicks off. Whole place goes pitch black. Start to nod off. My dad wakes me up and says, hey, look, there's something in the doorway. We both look, and here's a 6'5" shadow figure standing there staring at us.
Mm-mm.
I don't know what I would have done. I'd be like, oh, you're tall.
I laid there on the couch. He was in the chair, and we were just watching it. It was just staring at us.
I'm assuming it eventually went away.
Yeah, it did go away. We think it was the former owner. He was about 6'5", big burly guy. He loved that place, so he was just basically checking on his guests because the lights went out.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
Crazy.
That's kind of nice, though.
Yeah. Did it seem like it like walked away, or is it just like you blinked and it was gone?
It was gone as fast as it was even there.
That's crazy. I'll be second guessing myself so hard.
See, I think that's the problem a lot of times, that you do second guess yourself, or if you see something, you don't say anything because you think your eyes are playing tricks on you, trick of the lights, the flashlights, whatever's happening. So a lot of times I don't think people say what they actually see.
No, I try to just to like confirm, like, is that just my head? Did somebody else notice it? There was one instance, I think it was even the same night as the whole curtain thing. We were in the room at Wilson's in the green guest bedroom, and there was a bunch of us just sitting in a circle, and I was facing a mirror that was facing the bed behind us. And in the mirror, I saw a shadow like this go down the wall, which it just kind of looked like an arm. And so I was like, what is that? There's nobody in front of any light source to do that. And then a guy next to me was like, you saw that too? And I was like, yeah, you saw it. It looked like an arm. And he was like, yeah. But then we figured out that he didn't even see it in the same mirror I did. He saw it in a mirror over in a corner over here. And then another girl confirmed that she saw it, but she saw it in person. So there's 3 different people who all saw the same thing, but if in different ways. And it was very, very bizarre.
Yeah, that's the whole thing with paranormal. It's actually interesting and bizarre at the same time, especially when it wants to pick one person to deal with. Like my dad, we set up DVR cameras through location, and my dad will sit there and watch it. That same hotel, he was sitting there watching our cameras. Middle summer, I mean, it's about 90 degrees here in Missouri, and I walked in that room and you could see your breath. He was freezing. Something just targeted him for the night. I ended up having to get rid of it and chase it out of there.
Wow.
I mean, we had to put blankets on him, a heat lamp to even warm him up.
Wow, freezing.
Yeah. That's terrible.
Yeah, and I mean, we're all in t-shirts,
Yeah.
and I ended up having to put a coat on going in there. That's how cold it got.
Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of cool places, and people have so many cool stories to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, we deal with a lot of it, especially in residential.
So when you go to residential, are they just looking for answers, or do they want you to get rid of what's there?
A lot of them want us to get rid of them. And we have some that want them to stay, and we try to get rid of the bad and leave the good. The good eventually will move on its own. But majority of the time, a lot of it is regular spirits that once owned a house, and to them, you're trespassing. And a spirit, if it was an asshole when it was alive, it's going to be the same way when it's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Realities don't change.
Yeah.
And then we get for some of the darker stuff too, which is very rare. You'll run across that, but it does happen.
So have you removed any haunted objects from any of the residential places you've gone?
Oh yeah, I removed a bunch of haunted dolls a blind lady picked up at a thrift store that was terrorizing her. She could only see shapes and shadows and bright lights, and these dolls were just wreaking havoc in her place.
And then what do you do with them?
They are actually currently in the Warrens Occult Museum.
Oh, okay. That place must be getting pretty full.
Oh yeah, they got a lot of stuff in there. And then we've got a haunted mask we took from a location that's sitting in John Zaffis' museum that was messing around with the owner of the movie theater was messing around in her house. She found it between the safe and the wall. She was actually laying down to take a nap. She woke up to something trying to crawl into her mouth. And then her granddaughter seen somebody that looked like grandma going out the front door while grandma was still laying in bed.
Oh.
Cops and the fire department got called to her house because somebody reported smoke coming out of the roof. They got there was no fire.
Damn. That's crazy.
And with the movie theater she owns is also haunted too. It was on an episode of Dead Files.
Oh, I've probably seen that. I've seen a
I was
lot of
gonna
those
say, you watch
episodes.
that a
I
lot.
do.
Ever hear the episode called The Madhouse?
How long ago was that? A little while
2012.
ago. I may have seen that.
That's the place. We're the only team since Dead Files to actually go in there and investigate.
Okay, I'll have to rewatch that tonight when I go home.
We confirmed that Amy Allen is actually a legit psychic. There's no BS with Amy Allen. We've
She's
documented everything that she picked up on.
she's pretty fascinating to watch.
Yeah, it's a shame that she got off the show. She was good at what she does.
Yeah.
And that place, my dad got pushed. They tried to push him over a balcony. and it ended up pushing him down to the floor. And he had where it looked like somebody grabbed him here, and he had bruise marks on his back that looked like fingerprint
Yikes.
marks.
Wow.
Our staff gets pinched all the time in there. They'll hear people talking in there.
Well, I've heard people talking.
Mm-hmm.
I work.
Yeah, we have too.
I work in an assisted living home, and I heard one woman say, "Get out." I don't know how much I can say because it's residents, but we had a resident pass away, and because I'm overnight, I had to stay in that room because it was empty. And in the middle of the night, I heard somebody scream, "Get out!" And I walked the halls and I checked on all the residents, and everybody was asleep. So, and then one time I actually got touched. Someone grabbed my shoulder. I thought it was, somebody, a resident trying to who needed me. And I said, "Oh, what do you need?" And I turned around and nobody was there. And that was also a room I was staying in that somebody passed away. So I have been touched before.
But I guess it's different because it's at your work versus when we're going out looking for it.
Yeah.
And
These are
especially
things that I expected. Yeah.
Yeah.
if you are sensitive, you're a perfect magnet
Mm-hmm.
because they know that you can feel them, so they can communicate with you a lot better than they can a normal person.
I've never been scared though. So that's good. When, in the home that I work at least.
My dad and I both have abilities as well because we both passed away and came back.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah, he died in a car accident, brought back. I died at 12 years old from a seizure and was brought back.
Wow.
So we both can see him, we can hear him, we can feel him.
And did that just start after you guys had those experiences and were brought back, or was there a little bit of it before?
Yeah, it started right after that. Because when you leave your body and you're floating above your body, so you're in another realm and you're seeing that white light. Like me, I don't remember when I died. All I saw was black and then woke up on the floor, and that was about it because my brain was sitting there going like this. So your brain's the last thing to go when you pass away. But my dad, he remembers waking up to the nuns reading his last rites.
Wow.
Yeah,
awful.
that's crazy.
It is.
Well,
Well,
I'm glad you guys are both able to come back. That's very unlucky and lucky.
Yeah.
We use our gifts to help people.
that's what I'm saying. It probably happened. You think it happened for a reason?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
It was a calling.
Yep.
Especially like being related to Ed and Lorraine, we never knew it until about 2 years ago.
Oh, so it's new. It's recent.
Yeah, we never knew we were related to them at all until we started doing genealogy. In fact, my cousin's in the chat here who did the genealogy for it. She's also related to the Warrens and Lizzie Borden.
So it's all tied in.
So then we're also related to the Johnson brothers, Keith and Carl, who were the very first demonologists at the Conjuring House before Ed and Lorraine were.
Yeah. I'm not too familiar with the story prior to when the Warrens went.
They got called in first. They were in college, and they were doing paranormal research, and they got called into the house, so they brought the Warrens in.
Okay.
And I mean, there's a lot of stories with The Conjuring with the Warrens and stuff that Roger punched Ed in the face. That did happen.
Well, I think it's because of the movies too. It kind of all gets mixed up.
Yeah, they were asked to leave, but they were never thrown out or punched in the face. None of that stuff ever.
Yeah. Yeah. There's just so much around the Conjuring house. So many different stories, legends. It's hard to know what's true and what's not.
Yeah, but I did find out before the parents bought it. My family owned it.
Okay.
One of my lines in my family owned it. The Kenyons.
Okay. Yep. We have heard of those. Yeah.
Yep. They're Mary Kenyon's my third great grandmother
Wow.
out of Rhode Island.
Yep. It's a small world, huh?
Hmm.
It is.
Wasn't there like wasn't there Native Americans or somebody saw whoever the indigenous were for that region? Somebody saw them in the river, or
Yeah, I believe so. Then you had the 1700s, the Revolutionary War up there. Supposedly there's soldiers buried in the walls of the hundred houses.
Yeah. There's a park around there somewhere too that's supposed to be highly active. I can't remember where it is though. It's in Rhode Island somewhere with all the Native American.
I know there's a vampire cemetery in Rhode Island.
Yeah, I don't know where that is.
ooh, I'd be
Heard of
interested
that.
in that.
We're supposed to come up there with Keith and Carl and go investigate the vampire cemetery.
Okay, well, you have our number.
Call
What are
us.
some of the other places you guys want to go to?
Oh gosh.
We've
Where
been
do we
trying to get
wanna
what to
go?
the Hawthorne.
Yeah, well, that's
Trying to get
that's
there.
an easy one though.
That's just hotel.
Just
That's
making
just
the
us.
time. Yeah.
We'd really like to get back out to West Virginia Penn and Old College. We really want to return to Madison Seminary and Fairfields County Infirmary, and those are in Ohio. We had some interesting stuff happen there.
Yeah, Ohio's a pretty haunted place. We did a residential case in Ohio.
Ohio's got a lot of places.
Yeah, I didn't expect there to be so much stuff out there until we found people doing events and everything out there. And it's like once you find one, you start finding a bunch of others.
Plus, if you go into Portsmouth, Ohio, that's one of the top 3 haunted towns in Ohio.
Hmm.
That's got a lot of mob history to it.
Mm.
A lot of antique stores out there. We went and one Ghost in the Attic is what it's called. A lot of haunted antiques in there, and we went into another antique store, and the guy actually asked us to go back and do an investigation.
That would be fun to go to an antique store.
Yeah, I'm sure there's probably lots of stuff.
He said he had 4 psychics, and they went up to the 4th floor, and they weren't even there 10 minutes. They were running up, screaming and crying.
We'll have to check out our local antique stores.
Yeah.
Well, you figure you're bringing in all those objects that people are attached to. You're bringing energy with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I tell a lot of people, when you buy something from a yard sale or antique store, cleanse it before you bring it on your property.
Yeah.
Ooh, I've never done that.
No, Michaela makes me leave them in the car for a week.
Ooh.
Right, Michaela?
Got all the ghost juices out.
Yeah, we also were planning on going to Haunted Hell House. We have that booked for June.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've seen the movies of that.
I'm so excited to go there.
I know my buddy Brandon, he did a paracon there. They had that paracon at the house.
Mm-hmm. It looks so fun. I can't wait. I'm excited.
We'll have to do live, Facebook Live for that one.
I'm ready for the clowns.
Come with your own costume.
They have one there you can wear.
Oh, cool.
Probably the one from the movie.
Yeah, it's the one from the movie, the one that sits in the basement.
And he would appear all over the place. He'd appear up the stairs.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Ashley will be wearing the costume.
Oh, great. I can't wait. But if I have to run, I'm probably going to trip because I guarantee it's probably for a person
It probably
4
is,
times
yeah.
my size.
It probably is.
And like I said, I don't know anything about the house other than what you've said. I haven't seen the movies. I know fairly little.
that's because I go digging for things, and then I get stuck watching things, and then I send everything to these guys.
If you ever get to Missouri, definitely check out Missouri State Penitentiary.
Yeah.
Atchison, Kansas is big haunted.
Okay, isn't that where the Sally House is?
Sally House, the McIntyre Villa. Then you got the old mansions out there.
Yeah. You want to go to the Winchester House?
I would love to go to the Winchester, Villisca. I would love to go out to like California to see Alcatraz and the Whaley House.
Oh, God, I love that.
Those are going to take a lot of planning.
Yeah.
They'll be in the books for us this year, but someday.
A lot of planning and money to get out there.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of PTO to use up.
Greg's got a question for you. What was your favorite area, ladies, at Mansfield?
Where's Mansfield? That's Ohio, right?
We didn't go to Mansfield. We went to Madison Seminary.
Was one of the places in a town, Mansfield. I'm not too great at geography areas.
Mansfield Reformatory.
We didn't go to Mansfield. We went to Mid Orange Correctional Facility in New York, and we went to Madison Seminary.
Mansfield's in Indiana, I believe.
Yeah, we didn't go to that one.
I haven't been out there. We haven't been too far. I think the farthest we've been is Ohio from us. We haven't gotten to go too far yet.
Yeah, there's even out here we have the history of the Civil War, and we've had a lot of massacres out this. Because the Midwest, got Jesse James out here, robbing banks, murdering people, and they're all buried out here. The Ford brothers that shot Jesse is out here, and the Mormon massacre sites.
Oh, wow. See, that's what I'd like to explore someday. The whole wild, wild West era.
It'd be cool to explore like a ghost town.
He meant Madison.
Okay,
no
Madison.
Okay.
Madison, when we went, was nuts. So that was where, when we were talking earlier about that music box going off, pointing at the haunted mirror in the spy's room, that was at Madison.
And the same thing happened. So we were filming, and they didn't want it, whatever spirit was in there, we assume it was the female spy, didn't want us to film. But we went back there later that night with a group of people, and I put my camera on the table and I turned it on again, and the same thing happened.
I think somebody came through either on Spirit Box or SS2 that was like, or even like
I think it was
boxes.
They were doing a double Estes.
Yeah, and they were like, turn off the camera.
And I was like, oh, can't film again.
They got you.
They got me.
I know when we first got there, I captured a whistle on an EVP. That one was unfortunately lost, though, because it was on somebody else's recorder. We had a really crazy experience upstairs. There was this, I think he was a resident there I'm pretty sure his name was John.
Mm-hmm.
We were up in his room on the third floor near where kind of like the rec area was down. It's next to the room that's supposed to be like the bad man's room. And supposedly John was a very shy individual. He likes to be respected. He wants you to knock before entering the room, just out of respect. So when we went up there, I knocked and introduced myself. I said, like, hope you don't mind us visiting. So me and Zoe were kind of sitting in there for a while, just doing EVPs. Those were also unfortunately lost. We were never able to recover if we got anything on those. But later on in the night, the rest of the group all came upstairs and we were all sitting in the hallway, and somebody was doing an Estes. And well, first he said something about like blue or the color blue or something. And so Steve, the host of the event, was like, is anybody wearing blue or anything? I had a blue hoodie on at the time. And then a few minutes later, he said, ask Ashley. And this person did not know my name. Like nobody else in the group other than like us knew our names. We didn't know anybody else because it was a public event. So there's a bunch of different people there. And I was like, what? Ask me what? Who is that? So they were like, okay, what do you want to ask her? And then kept hearing like knocking sounds down at the other end of the hallway, but then the person under Estes later said, "Thanks for knocking," which everybody else kind of assumed like, oh, maybe it was like them responding to like the knocks that were going on. But for me, I kind of interpreted it as he was like, "Thanks for knocking before coming."
Right.
So I kind of felt like this nice little connection that we built up, and that was a really cool experience.
Greg wanted to know, did you guys make it into the attic?
At Madison.
Yep.
Did that count as the attic?
I don't know if that counted at that room that we were all sat in at the end of the hallway. I think that was classed as the attic area.
Was it? Yeah, because I know that was. Yeah, I don't know. Is the third floor? Because that's where like the rec area was, and a couple like residential rooms, and then where the surgical room or like the doctor's room was.
Mhm. I don't know if that's classed as the attic.
Yeah, I don't know if that one is or not.
I-
I'm not sure when it comes to Madison,
Mhm.
unless you mean another place.
Is that what you meant, Greg? Did put it in the chat?
Because it was that wooden area like that we all sat in. I don't know. I start to mix places up sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you do enough of them, especially like us, it gets crazy trying to remember everything.
Well, especially that weekend because we did Fairfield and Madison back to back.
Okay, so it was Madison.
Madison, yeah.
I'm assuming that wooden area, was it where that lady was set on fire? Was that Madison?
Oh, that was at
Was it
Fairfield.
I'm gonna say maybe not.
If it's not the area that we're describing, then probably not, because that's the biggest area or like the highest top floor that I think we were able to access. So if that's not it, then I don't think we did.
We'll
go
have to
up
find
there.
out next time we go if there's an attic.
Yeah.
Greg said it's really, really hot up there.
Then we weren't up there because I was not hot.
No.
Yeah, I don't like investigating the attic when it's that hot. Especially out here, it gets up to over 100 degrees.
Oh no.
Yeah, a lot hotter down there than for us.
We're never hot at night anywhere we go.
I know it cools down pretty quick once
Yeah.
the sun goes down.
Mm-hmm.
If you do like Missouri State in like June and July, you need to carry water with you and you're in t-shirts.
Yeah.
Best place
Yeah.
to hide in there when it's hot is down in the dungeon cell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like I'm always cold when I go wherever I go.
Yeah.
Then I fall asleep somewhere because I'm so cold. I go into hibernation and I just take a little nap somewhere.
So you catch her sleeping on investigations quite a bit, do you?
Here and there.
It depends on the night. I dozed off while sitting up in a chair at Lizzie Borden's because we were just so out of practice and it's been a while and I just did not sleep well. And so I was like, I'm tired, guys. I'm trying to stay awake.
Yeah, I've sat
Big
on the
desk
floor in
and a
hallways and
sloped
fell
ceiling.
asleep.
I think in Orange. I
don't
fell
think
asleep
we
standing up
Mm-hmm.
and just so desperate to hear something or find something, but my brain's like, nope.
Well, they don't work on cue either, so
He said big desk and
Oh,
a sloped ceiling. I don't think.
So. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, the only room I could think of with a desk was downstairs.
Yeah, I don't
Greg
think
said it
so.
was a huge room.
I don't
I mean,
think so.
maybe it's the rec room because they were kind of sloped. I don't remember there being a desk in there though.
I honestly don't remember.
We cannot remember. I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
And this is all the more reason to go back.
I know.
Find it.
Yeah, and watch our footage more.
Yeah, we didn't even because that was one of our first ones, so we didn't even really have our own equipment at that point because we were just
Oh,
using the
yeah.
equipment from the hosts that we borrowed.
What's your go-to piece of equipment that you use quite a bit?
We tend to mix it up a lot. There's a lot of times where we just throw everything out and see what happens.
Yeah, sometimes we do that. We just kind of see what happens and then remove the other things. It really depends where we are. At Lizzie's, we can't use a lot of our equipment because there's so much EMF in that
Yeah.
house. Everything goes off all the time.
Yeah, so like
The
our
K2s go
the
off
K2
consistently.
constantly goes off.
The rope
trip
doesn't
rope.
work.
Yeah, so that's something to consider too if anybody goes there, is that for some reason that house has a lot of EMF, and I don't know if it's just the electrical in it or the
Yeah.
lights, but it's constant.
Well, yeah, a lot of those old houses, they're only just that knob and plaster in the walls, and it's that knob and wiring. So that it does give off a lot of EMF. That's why houses like that, I don't use a K2.
Mm-hmm.
I'll use my millimeter.
Yep, we have one of those.
Yeah, we had those out. The REM pod, and I have a little like EMF bear that wasn't going off at all. That only went off once the entire night, which you witnessed that.
Yep. It was the end of the night. We were done, right? We're all gonna go to sleep, and I was alone. And the bear, you left the bear on in the room, and I was like, it lit up, and nobody else could see it. Everything that happens to me, I'm always alone.
Yeah,
they don't like a crab.
Yeah.
And something we need to do is, we said this time we were going to try doing solos to see what we get, and it was just so hectic the whole night we completely forgot.
Yeah. But as for one piece of equipment we consistently use,
we try to do EVPs a lot.
Yeah.
We do the Estes at least a couple of times. Usually when we go places, if we're like, okay, not much is happening out here, let's see if anything's happening on the radio.
Yeah.
How long do you stay under Estes for?
It depends on how active it is. I've been under for an hour straight before. Just because,
well, it was a funny time. So
it was a funny time, and then it's just like if we're getting a lot, and I just kind of like tune into it. So I'm like, wake me up when you're done.
And as long as you're feeling fine too.
Yeah, like it's not often that I'll come out, but I'll take it off and I'm like, okay, guys, nothing's happening here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we only do like 15-minute sessions and then switch out.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's how long we usually tend to be when there's not a ton happening. But if it's really consistent and there's like a lot happening, we'll go a little bit longer.
Because Estes is draining. It's physically on your body.
Sometimes after that, I woke up like I just had a nap. I was like, hello world, I'm back. I have rested my brain. I am zoned out enough. Let's go.
It drains you.
I can't do it. I don't like the noise.
I've done it without using the spirit box, where you actually focus on your senses.
Mm-hmm.
Blindfold on the noise canceling headphones, let somebody ask questions real low.
We could try that.
We'll have to try that.
You'd probably try that. I don't think I'm a very sensitive person. At least as far as I'm aware.
That.
We did it at Missouri State when Nesper had all the objects out there. They had just packed up and we were on free roam, so we went down to the dungeon and did it. And I tapped into a man from cell number 20, which I was later able to confirm with Wade that he was mad because they kept all their stuff in his cell. And he didn't want to be bothered with it, so he went down to the dungeon and he wasn't happy.
Mm-hmm.
And then picked up on JB the firebug, who was housed down there for 18 years.
We'll have to try that.
I think we should try, what's it called? Like the free writing or something? Maybe you could try that.
Yeah.
Automatic writing?
Yeah, that's what it is.
I would like to try that at Wilson's. What was it, kids' room?
Once again.
That's all I talk about. I want to go back to that room.
If you do, make sure your intentions are good, because that's just opening a door. You can let something darker in. It's the same with doing Estes. Any type of spirit communication, you're sending that invite. So you want to make sure your intentions are good, so you don't get something else coming through and decides, hey, I'm going to wreak havoc on you and follow you home.
Yeah. It's hard sometimes to not get emotional when you really have to.
Yeah.
Cut that.
Yep.
It's hard.
A lot of times I feel like things are happening in front of me and they don't really know I'm there. Like the argument, the two men that were arguing at Wilson Castle in the kids' room. Like I saw a handsome tall man who was dressed really nice arguing with an older man, and it was just going on and on. And I was alone at that point.
Was that like a vision type of thing that you had?
I could see them. I did see them. Right. And I could hear clear as day that they were arguing. I gotta start writing this stuff down.
I'll tell you a good show to watch on Wednesday nights right here on Supernatural Link. Greg Koss is When Spirit Connect. They do live Estes methods from all over the United States on his podcast. They'll get about 6 people on there, and two will do Estes, the rest are asking questions and writing stuff down.
And that's Wednesdays?
Yep. And it's right here on Supernatural Link on Facebook and YouTube.
Supernatural Link.
Okay. Remember that.
Add it to the notes.
I'll add it to the notes.
And it's actually a good show. That the one episode they did, the spirit was actually calling for me during their Estes method.
So they do it all over the place, like all. Have they ever come to this area?
He brings them on his podcast. They do it live right online through a podcast right through StreamYard here. That's one of his shows.
To tune in and see what it's all about.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting seeing how in different parts of the world where people are at, that they're able to connect with stuff.
Yeah, and it's nice to see how different people investigate too.
Yeah, it's basically learning from each other. That's what it's about, to learn different ways. I mean, think outside the box. Role playing is another good example for investigating. Like we did at Waverly, we did a role play on the 4th floor in the surgery room. I laid on the table and had somebody wheel me under the light, and I was playing sick, and they were yelling for a doctor. And that kicked up activity. A motion light went off in the doorway, and we heard something. I went to sit up, and I was pinned to the table. It was like something restraining my arms, my legs. I could feel somebody pushing on my chest.
Yeah, we have played music. We were when we were at College Hill. They were playing like sirens and
basically like ambient, like emergency room sounds.
Yeah.
The machines going off.
Yeah, that was pretty intense. Listening to the machines go off, and then the activity definitely ramps up.
Yep, and that same time, we heard 2 women scream in the hallway. And we had another team there with us, and we messaged them to find out where they were. They were on the 5th floor on the whole other side of the building out on the roof doing an Estes method, so it wasn't any of them.
Didn't we hear? Can you guys hear somebody talking? We were at Fort Knox. Or somebody screaming.
So we have an EVP from when we were at Fort Knox one time. There was a few of us that were in Long Alley in Mike's room. We were doing an EVP recording, and we say, like, like you said, anybody that wants to like talk to us, and there's a really, really gruff male's voice that's like, hi, or hey, or something that we didn't hear until we played it back. And then also that you can hear in the recording right after that is disembodied voices that we were hearing down the hall, which again sounded like men's voices. And it was we were all women in the room. There was probably about like 4 or 5 of us, and we did have men in the group, but we discovered later on that literally all of the men in the group were off in one of the batteries, which was outside of the fort walls, like underground. So we're like, so whose voices were we hearing? Because it's not like that would have carried into that.
Right, because we could hear them.
Yeah.
We tried to follow it, didn't we? We were like, oh, there they are.
No, that was a different time.
That was a different
That was
time.
this last
Okay.
time when we couldn't find. So at Fort Knox in Maine, it's noise carries for sure in that place. So it's really hard to figure out where things are coming from. But we could hear distinct voices. So we were trying to follow the voices, but there was nobody there because we were hiding. We thought we were just going to be funny and jump out on our
Right.
friends that were down the hallway, but we looked like fools because we were hiding for no apparent reason. And we realized they weren't coming to find us at all.
And then we find out that they were looking for us because they could hear us, and we somehow never crossed paths, even though I left the area that we were in and went to a completely different area of the fort, came back, never crossed paths. And luckily we eventually found each other, but they thought we got like raptured because they came across all of our equipment that we had left behind. That was all still going
we
while
just
we were looking
left.
for
Yeah,
them.
we just left all of our equipment in one area and left it, and we just went for a walk.
Yeah,
and
we thought they were down there.
Yeah, so they thought we got abducted. So they were shocked when they found us. They looked scared when they found us. It was like we vanished.
Yeah, that was a crazy night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always fun too when making stuff like pranks. We did that at a cemetery we were at. My buddy and I were sitting on this bench doing an EVP session. These teenagers pulled in a car. I think they were looking to make out. So I said to my buddy, I said, "You want to have a little fun?" I said, "On the count of 3, we both get up from this bench and we start walking towards them." So we did. I never seen a car slam in reverse so quick.
Yeah, I bet.
Come to find out, next day there was an urban legend coming out of there. There's some figures that sit on the bench about midnight. And they get up and pull in there and they'll walk towards
Yeah,
Yeah, no wonder they took off.
There. I'd be like, either this is a cryptid or a murderer, and I don't want to find out which.
Well, that cemetery too has got a skinwalker in it.
Yeah, I'd love to go to some cemeteries around here, but the cops are out in full force in Derry, so we can't get anywhere.
Just go to them. Go and talk to them. Just ask permission. Cops will let you if you do it the right way. They know you're not going to be out there vandalizing. They'll let you do it the right way. But if you go in there trespassing, then that's like us.
I bet if we got times with the historical society that like maintains it, we could probably figure something out.
Yeah, even a caretaker that maintains it too, they can give you permission.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know there's a lot of ghost stories in our local one.
Well, we're waiting on you to get in there.
Yeah.
We work with law enforcement too with a lot of the urban legends, going out to debunk them. Kids go out there and play around, and I think it's fun to bring Ouija boards in there, and so we kind of go out there and try to document and debunk stuff for law enforcement.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're like that around here. We'd have to find somebody to get us in.
Yeah, we'll figure out something. I know that there's a like a historical society that maintains it for the one in our town that like work with the church. So
Yeah, as long as you get the permission from them and just have them get it in writing, so that way if you do get stopped, you can show them, hey, here's my documentation. We have permission to be here.
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely.
And a lot of law enforcement is pretty cool with it. They're like, have fun, be safe. You also need it.
Right.
Yeah. And I can also like understand wanting to patrol a lot of places like that just because there's so much vandalizing everywhere, and it's just there's no need for it. Why destroy like historical places or like other people's property or anything? Because then you ruin it for all the people who do just want to go and like respectfully like explore an area.
Oh, we've got a cemetery that's back out in the conservation area called Felix Grave, and the kids go out there and they party. They knock stones over. There's beer cans everywhere.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Just how people.
It's because people go places and they just set random fires.
Yep. Hans Mill was another one. The kids would go down there and rip the place up, and that's a historical Mormon site. They would go down there with the 4-wheelers and trucks, do donuts out in the middle of the yard out there. Not knowing out in the middle is a well that's shallow where there's bodies buried in it.
Oh, jeez. That's awful.
And they'd go down there because they hear the urban legend it's haunted. So they go down there and play with the Ouija boards and this and do that down there. And they just stir up bad activity down there.
Right. So when you go places, do you use the Ouija boards?
Nope, we don't use them at all. We're dead set against them.
Yeah, same.
We don't use them.
I mean, there's people that use them and nothing happens, but I've worked on too many cases involving Ouija boards that it has happened to people.
Yeah.
I've had to dispose of them too.
How do you dispose of something like that?
Roman Catholics believe you burn them off
Hmm.
the property, or you take them out to a crossroads and you bury them, but you got to bury the planchette separate from the Ouija board. And that confuses the entities because they don't know which way to go because they're at a crossroads.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just something that we've never used. We went to a museum in Salem, Mass, which was pretty interesting. They had hundreds of boards in there, all different ones, dating to way back. But I felt so nauseous the whole time I was in there that I couldn't even focus.
And probably half of them aren't even closed out either, so they're probably still open, letting things in and out.
Hmm. Yeah, I felt so dizzy in there and nauseous the whole time. I couldn't wait to get out.
Uneven floors and incense.
Yeah.
I wonder if they do that on purpose.
Yeah, I don't know.
Possibly.
And the kids too, they play with them. They think they're fun because they were as a toy. So they get them and they bring them in their house. They play with them. They open that door. Parents see them playing with that. They take it out of there. That door is open, and then whatever came through is stuck with you for the rest of your life.
Well, that's because they're sold in toy stores.
Yeah, gotta be 21, drink beer, but 8 up to summon the devil.
Yeah. Which now it's hard. You can't find them in stores anymore, really. You can find them online, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Or Spirit Halloweens.
Oh, Barnes and Noble. Now, apparently Barnes and Noble have them.
But anything can be a Ouija board. You can make a table as a Ouija board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All you have to do is cut out letters and put them on the table and use a glass as a planchette.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah. Don't need to bother opening up that door.
Nope.
We've done the human pendulum. It's actually a pretty interesting way of communicating.
And how do you do that?
You have to get 3 people. The person in the middle is the pendulum. They rock
Okay.
back. The spirit rocks them back and forth. Forward for yes, back for no. And the other 2 people are standing with their hands up to catch the person so they don't fall.
You can become your
Ooh.
pendulum.
I can't stand still as it is, so I don't think I would be.
Oh, you're going to
Because
sacrifice
you're
me.
the smallest.
Even
You're
when-
little, so you get to be sacrificed.
Even when I'm told to be quiet and stand still, I have to really focus on standing still. So
We actually gave a demonstration of that at an event we did for people that's never seen it done before.
yeah, I've never seen that done.
Either.
Yeah, I learned it from last summer from Next to Skin Paranormal when we were at an event. They were doing it in Missouri State down in 3D, which is housed the criminally insane inmates, and we were communicating with a woman down there. And that was the first time I've seen it done because we've never used it. Because residential, you got to watch what you do in residential because your client's scared as it is. You don't want to be doing stuff, and we try not to let our clients listen to what we're communicating to. We get some that try to listen to what we're talking about and stuff like that, and you don't want your client to hear what you're talking about because they're already freaked out of their minds. You don't want to make it 10 times worse for them.
Right.
Mhm.
So when you do residential, do the clients leave and let you be there alone?
Some do. Some we like to have the clients there because if the activity is revolving around them, with them still in the home, it keeps it going, the activity. And we won't tell a client we're coming. We like the element of surprise because if they know we're coming, that entity will go and hide somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
It'll lay in dormant until we leave, and then it'll go on there. hunt again for their people, and this time it'll be 10 times angry. That's like people that go in and stir it up and then they leave the client holding the bag. You can't do that. I mean, they're already scared enough, their family's scared. And then your darker stuff is even worse because it already, like the darker stuff, if we have to go out on the case, it already knows we're coming. It knows
Mhm.
what car we drive, it knows our names, our birth dates, who we are, and you can't surprise that because it does what it wants.
So if it's somebody you can't help, do you have somebody you
Yep,
can call to come in?
yep, we don't abandon a client. If it's something we can't handle, I work with Roman Catholic priests, I work with demonologists. My mentor, Farrah Rose Perry, she's a sister in the Roman Catholic Church, and she works for the diocese office where they do exorcisms. So if it's something I can't handle, I call her. And we get a priest out there, and if it's psychological, we'll get them the other help they need for that.
So have you ever found a common thread? Is it typically from the house itself, or do you find that this demon or whatever's following them, does it go from house to house?
Sometimes, yeah, if it's attached to a person, basically your darker stuff feeds on a weak person.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a violent history past with alcohol, you've been abused, been raped, molested, anything like that, disabilities, autism is a perfect example of a disability for that. That's what they prey on. They prey on weak.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, they come in, they'll act like a regular spirit, get your knocks and frees, your scratches. Then when it gets to the oppression stage is when it starts going in for the attack, and then it found its target, and it starts making them sick. They're not wanting to do anything with the families. They're very angry. They start speaking in different languages that they never spoke before. They're waking up with bruises and scratches. And then when it goes to the possession, then that's it. It's taken over.
So have you ever met anybody that's in the possession state?
Just about. My very first demonic case was that way. I actually witnessed my dad, me, and the rest of my team witnessed an upside down cross scratched to the side of a person's neck,
Wow.
Mm.
and their eyes rolling in the back of their head. Basically, it was that thing telling us, "You better leave. This is what I can do."
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's scary.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
very
I don't wanna
scary.
hit any of that.
No.
Yeah,
We did the Wyndham restaurant. I think that was the only time did we ask to go there, or
Yeah.
the owner of the restaurant was really interested because things did happen. So we went there while the restaurant was running, and he seems very interested in just the spirit or the spirits that are there.
hmm
But doesn't want to remove them. He just wants to find out who it is exactly, I guess.
April had a question. Can they know about you outside normal time, meaning know you are coming before you even know, maybe weeks or months before?
I think that's a question for you. I don't think we
Yeah,
can
that's
answer
more for
that.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They know. They know when you're coming, even months before. They know who that person's calling for help, who they're thinking about calling for help. And a bishop told me that the devil has anybody that deals with like your darker stuff, helping people to get rid of it. The devil's got your wanted poster in hell.
Oh God. That's not pleasant.
So for like us that deal with it, that help people with the darker stuff, they've got our wanted poster.
Yeah. It just
And
blows my mind that something knows that you're coming.
oh
It's like
yeah,
it's
a regular spirit don't, but your demonic stuff does.
yeah. Because we've only gotten our names at the places that we've gone to multiple times. So that's
Yep,
the only time we've ever gotten our names on any devices or
right. Well,
any.
that's
And that's the only time we've ever
Well,
gotten
yeah.
it the first time.
Yeah.
that's like when they were alive, and you're a familiar face to them. Like I
Hmm.
go down to Hans Mill, they recognize me down there because I've been down there numerous times. So they
Yeah.
kind of like congregate around me all the time when I go down there, being
Yeah.
down
Yeah. Yeah. We go to Wilson Castle a lot, so it's almost like our home away from home. So that's where we seem to get our names an awful lot. I've heard my name called to me, and I thought it was my mom calling for me, and nobody was even standing there.
Yeah, that's interesting when they mock voices. I've
Yeah,
just
I
that
turned around thinking my mom was calling for me, and there was nobody there.
I worked at a haunted school, and I was up there by myself. And this school was built in 1909, and I was up on the second floor, and I could have sworn our cooks were in the building, and nobody was supposed to be in there except for me. School was closed that day. I went downstairs, kitchen's locked up. Went and looked at the security cameras, played the footage back. Nobody came in the door. Nobody was in the parking lot.
Yeah,
Another time, I heard one of our teachers' voices being mocked in the main hallway. Down there, nobody.
nobody. Yeah, I mean, a lot of things too are residual noises. When we were at Mid Orange, we practically timed it, and every device was going off like in a circle. It was like they were going from like the kitchen to the freezer, and then back again, and
Yep.
it was just happening. It was we timed it, and it was the same time to each device that was going off.
Another residual thing you'll hear a lot in prisons too is cell doors slamming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that
Missouri
makes sense.
State's a pretty good one. We were walking the catwalks up there, and the cell doors in front of us were all slamming shut. And we're looking right at them, and they're all propped open.
Yeah.
And there, you can't touch any of the cell doors because they're electric, so they'll shut on you if you mess around with them.
Oh yeah. The first time that we went to Lizzie Borden, my daughter and I, she was doing a project for school. Um, we both had the same exact dream when we left there, which was pretty fascinating. And what was Lizzie walking in a chair?
Woke up at the same time.
Yeah, so my daughter and I, we woke up at the exact same time to the same dream of Lizzie Borden in a rocking chair in the corner of the room, just staring at us. We both had, it's just crazy that we both had the exact same dream, the same image and everything. So it's just crazy how things just are so connected. And
Oh yeah,
yeah.
we did a case in Oklahoma. This one was a demonic case. The guy was doing devil worshiping in his house, and we got called out there for an emergency. His mother called us because he had two little boys in the home, and things were going haywire. So my dad and I went out there. We were the only two, and we were investigating. And I was solo. He watches our cameras. He can't walk very good, so he was watching the cameras, and I stopped to take a break. And we were sitting there watching the cameras, letting the cameras run. One camera in the hallway sat there and started pulsating. I figured it was a static issue. They're wired cameras, so it picks up the static from the carpets and stuff like that. So it started to get worse. Then we seen this figure appear in it, big, tall, black figure. So I said to my dad, "I'm gonna go check it out. Just keep an eye on it." I walked back there, and this thing was standing there at the end of the hallway, looking at me. Come running right at me, dropped down about 5 foot, disappeared up my legs, and I had like 3 razor scratches down my arm. I still have scars from it.
Oh wow.
And that was a demonic warning me to get out of there or I'm gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
But I didn't run, I stood my ground. And we were able to help that family, but the guy, he didn't want help. He reverted right back to his ways of worshiping the devil, and it
Mhm.
started actually influencing him. He tried to kill his girlfriend. His girlfriend jumped out of a moving vehicle at 70 miles an hour.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, and that property too has a history of violence. It's down on the Trail of Tears in Oklahoma. Supposedly,
Yeah.
there's 2 missing girls buried on that property.
No, like
Oh,
that.
jeez.
They
Okay.
went missing in the 90s.
Yeah, I don't think we've gone anywhere that's been demonic. That's
Thankfully.
scary. Yeah.
Yeah, most of your prisons and stuff like that's gonna be more of your inmates that are violent when they were
Mhm.
alive.
Yeah.
But your demonic is more people that are doing the worshiping, and
Hmm.
or their tarot cards is another one that can bring forth demonic if you don't know what you're doing with them.
Yeah.
Swords, even doing spirit box sessions too can. That's why you always have to set your intention, because it's still an invite. You're inviting something to come through and communicate.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what it is, you're inviting everything to come through that.
Hmm.
So you have to set your intentions. Like Greg's show, when they do it, they do a prayer before they even do the essence.
Yeah.
So they have protection.
Yeah. I'm not a very religious person.
It's all what you believe. I mean,
Hmm.
you do for protection.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Grounding yourself, like if you're spiritual, ground yourself.
Right.
Grow roots into the earth.
Hmm.
Ground yourself in mirrors. Glass pointed out. Then it can't see it
Hmm.
because it can't look at itself in the mirror.
So what do? You surround yourself. How does that work?
Ground yourself in a circle. You're in the middle of that circle of mirrors, glass pointed out. So that thing circling it, it's seeing itself in the mirror, and it can't look at itself in the mirror.
Okay.
See, armor just made of mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Or
No getting
surround yourself with white light is another good protection.
Hmm. We have to travel with mirrors for you now.
I know.
Our packing list is getting quite large.
No, this is more you do it in your mind. Mirror.
Oh, that would work. Yeah.
It's all part of meditation and stuff like that. Before you do
Yeah.
it. Same with the growing roots of the earth.
Right.
Grounded. Because you can get partially possessed. You can have a spiritual body.
Yeah, that sounds awful. I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, no.
I've got a video of a member getting partially possessed.
I'd be kicked out of my house.
It's to the point that this person was sitting there taking her own face open with her thumb and not even realize she's doing it. And then her face just morphs to somebody else.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask my family. They're always terrified I'm going to bring something home. And I'm like,
That's why cleanse yourself before you leave. And you're doing the right intention, saying for it to
Right.
stay there and not follow you, but they don't always listen.
I don't think we've gone anywhere that's
I hope.
No.
super crazy.
No, we don't really put ourselves in
And
any
we-
demonic areas
Yeah.
or places that are claimed to be demonic.
And we don't push buttons. We're very respectful.
That's the main thing. Even if you do deal with the demonic, be respectful.
Hmm.
Go in there and challenge it, provoke it, then you're going to ask for problems
Right.
because it don't have to listen to you. It can do what it wants.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like us, when we're dealing with it, my question's direct and to the point, so I'll get cussed at quite a bit because I'm there to do a job and figure out what's going on in a client's house. Where if I'm at like Waverly or Missouri State, I'm just talking normal, having a normal conversation with a spirit.
Right.
But,
Yeah. Those two are very different when you're going to help somebody versus doing it for
yeah,
yourself. I would feel so much pressure going to someone's house.
yeah, it's a lot of different energies because you're running into a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
And we ran into everything from sexual molestation going on. We ran into a guy pimping his wife out for money.
Wow.
Have
So,
you ever run into a case where you determine it wasn't actually paranormal and more like psychological, or just
oh
there was
yeah,
just something wrong happening there?
yep, we've ran into quite a few of those.
Mhm.
Schizophrenic people, it's bad with them. We did one that a lady was playing with tarot cards and she was diagnosed schizophrenic and was doing readings for people. And she swore she had demons in her house, and her husband wasn't experiencing anything, either was the kids. It was more her disability. And
Mhm.
schizophrenic people hear voices.
Mhm.
That's part of their disability.
But how do you explain it to them? How do you get them to understand that it's not
It,
paranormal?
it's hard. It takes a lot of help with the family too, when to help explain it, because they'll listen more to a family member than us because we're some strangers off the street.
Yeah.
So we'll pull like a family member aside and talk to them and explain it to them what is going on and what we feel like. We got called in for another case that the lady got her kids taken away and she's claiming paranormal activity. We go there, she was diagnosed schizophrenic. The building's just full of EMF, so we couldn't even get a definitive reading. Even the Mel meter was spiking so bad. Walk in the children's room, and there's feces all over the walls and the
Oh
floor.
no.
Oh.
She swore she saw a little girl in the corner of the room when we left, and we had a camera pointed there. We usually set up cameras, and then we'll leave, let the place calm down. We'll go out to eat, and come back to regroup. Well, we come back. She said, "Oh, I seen a little girl in this corner." So I went and replayed the footage. There was no little girl showed up on the camera. It was more the schizophrenic, and she was on medication also. Medication plays a lot of factors in it too, with hallucinations.
Yeah.
Mhm. So how do you get called into a situation like that? So does the
Yeah,
family or something
most
happening?
people call us because they're complaining of paranormal activity, so they're reaching out to us to come in and help. And when we get there and we bring all the gear in and start investigating, and we don't find nothing, we find a lot of psychological. And I do background checks on my clients
Mm.
before we even go in. We do interviews with them. We're finding out they got a history of violence, alcohol, they're on drugs, or their past. They've been last a lot of past trauma where they've been beat as a kid, or they're seeing things that aren't there, the medications that they're on, and a lot of times we find a lot of it's psychological with people.
Yeah. So how do they if somebody needs help in a residential home, what's the easiest way for them to find someone?
Uh, Look on Google, like us, we're heavily listed. If you look up paranormal teams in Missouri, we're the very first ones that pop up on Google.
Okay.
So we're all over Google. We're on these websites that have team listings, and you can find teams all over the world. And then with us being part of Cold Spotters, also we've got connections to them too, so we get referred cases.
Yeah. Interesting.
And like I said, we don't abandon the client. If we can't help them, we get people that can, whether it be counseling. I have connections with mental health counselors and stuff like that.
Okay. Wow. Well, that's good work.
Yeah, it's tough work too when you're doing it.
Yeah, it must take an emotional toll.
It does, and then plus for us seeing the family happy again, especially if we do come across something and we get rid of it, seeing the family walking back into their home that they were living in that hell of a haunting they had, to walk in and feel how clear their house is, that their house is back to normal,
Yeah.
makes it worthwhile for us. That's why we do it.
Have you
That's-
ever known anybody that's just up and left their home?
Oh yeah,
They just leave just the clothes on their back and
yep.
leave. Yeah. That's sad.
And a lot of times it don't get rid of it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm wondering.
It's gonna follow you. If
Right.
it's already picked its target, it's gonna follow you wherever you go. There's no people say burn the house down. That's not gonna stop it. Hey, you
Right.
burn the house down, you're just burning the vessel. That's the same with haunted objects.
Mm-hmm.
Got stuff attached to them. People say burn them. You're just burning the vessel. You're not burning the entity that's attached to it.
Right. Poor families. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, it gets tough. For us, kids take first priority. If they got kids in the home, we'll drop everything to go help the child
Right. Right.
because their brains aren't developed yet to know what's real and what's fake, and they're perfect innocent targets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
We got about 10 minutes left. If anybody's got any more questions, feel free to post them up in the chat. But yeah, it's tough doing residential. We probably over 160 cases of residential heat that we've done.
Yeah, somebody did ask us to potentially come to their home, but it didn't go anywhere because I mean, honestly, I don't know what we would be able to do because we've never done anything like that.
Yeah.
Right.
We
I
don't know
think
what
we'd
we're dealing
probably
with.
put them at more at risk of accidentally messing something up.
Yeah, exactly.
Main thing with a residential, go in with respect for the homeowner, the client, and whatever spirit's there. And don't provoke it. For the client, don't tell them what's going on. If you get scared by something, don't go running out of the house screaming. Just calmly say, I need to take a break for a few minutes, and then just
Yeah.
calmly walk out.
Yeah. I just don't, we're not there yet. That's not,
No.
I'd rather somebody, a
Very good.
professional, take care of
We
it.
need like training before doing that.
Right.
Yeah, that's, like I said, the main thing, go with a group that's responsible enough to train you in that area. Plus, you also got to cover your rear ends for liability, too.
Yeah.
If you are in someone's personal home, their personal belongings, so you don't want to be accused of they misplaced something and you get accused of stealing it. And next thing you know, they've got cops on.
Yeah.
Like us, we have forms they have to fill out, or we'll even investigate.
And how long have you been doing residential?
I started doing residential in 2006.
Okay. So you've been doing it for a while.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we have standard permission forms, confidentiality forms for clients they have to fill out. which the permission form is stating that we are there at our own risk. They are not responsible for us, but the client is responsible for damage to our equipment if they happen to grab it, drop it, break it. And my team is fully responsible for any damages. If they bump into something in the dark, break something in the glass, team members have to pay.
So typically, how long are you in one location for?
It depends on the activity. We could be there anywhere from we'll get there probably about 4 or 5 o'clock. Sit down with the client, start setting up equipment, then we usually get to eat. Back, we're there till sometimes we don't leave until 9 o'clock in the morning. So we're there for like 12 to 14 hours, even longer.
Yeah, have you ever spent like days there? Like
Yeah,
weeks?
there was one we spent 2 days at
Yeah.
working
Well,
on.
oh, sorry.
Because sometimes, I mean, when you go places, they're not puppets. It's not just gonna happen because you're sitting there and expecting it to happen.
Yep, and like our one case with the upside down cross, that case took 6 months.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh. What
For us.
made you take that step from investigating into helping other people?
Well, with me, with my experience as a kid, it kind of sparked my interest to help people with it that didn't understand, to help them learn and educate them on the paranormal. So that made me want to get into helping people with it because people don't know where to turn. Taps was another big inspiration with watching them doing residential and stuff like that,
Yeah. I'm a big Taps fan.
helping them out. I actually got to meet Steve from Taps in September in Gettysburg.
Oh, nice.
Didn't
Tango was supposed to be there, but he that hurricane was coming up, so he was stuck in Florida.
Yeah,
Jason,
they're from Rhode Island. Very close to here.
Tango lives in Florida now,
Yeah.
and Jason didn't make that trip this time to the Warren Fairtown because that was that whole ordeal going on with that drama with the Conjuring House. So,
Yeah, right. Yeah, stay clear of that.
yeah, we are until that whole thing blows over because we got an invite to go with Keith and Carl up there to investigate the Conjuring House with them, and then all this stuff went down with it. Oh, we're staying away.
Yeah, I don't foresee it opening anytime soon.
I don't either. The city's shutting it down unless they get a new owner in there.
Yeah, I don't think she's gonna part with that house.
I don't think so either. It's a shame though, because it's a good location.
It's beautiful home.
I wish the other owner still kept it.
Yeah, we met Jen the first time we went briefly.
Yeah, we had good experience there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, if you get out to Missouri, definitely check out Atchison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Back,
definitely.
Back Interior Villa's got good activity. If you go on Supernatural Inc.'s YouTube page, Katie, the owner of Supernatural Inc., she's one of the owners. She goes out there to the back interior, and her and Stephanie, the owner, they investigate quite a bit out there.
Yeah, we'll have to try.
Missouri State Pen is another one. Then the battlefields here in Missouri and Springfield and Lexington.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, we have a list of places we want to get to.
I really want to get to Trans-Allegheny. I thought of that earlier when you brought up the insane asylum down near where you are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've got one I've been trying to get into. It's actually for sale. It's an old tuberculosis hospital in southern Missouri here. I've been trying to get into that one.
Mm.
We had several mental hospitals too. We had the Marshall State Hospital, which they actually tore down and converted into apartments.
It's interesting when they do that, when they change it, because they were going to change Mid-Orange into a summer program, summer camp,
Yeah.
but they changed their mind. But I was like, could you imagine all those cottages on that campus being children's summer camping homes?
Yeah, I pity the kids at night too. They'd be seeing all kinds of spirits, all the
Mm-hmm.
inmates and stuff.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's Missouri State. They tore down some of the cell housing, the office building. One's to be a correctional officer training. They tore down the infirmary and put an office building up there. So those buildings got to be haunted.
Wow.
And you can only get in cell house 1. Actually, no, cell house 3, 4, 2, 3, and 4. The only ones you can get into.
Yeah.
Down the other one, they tore down 1 and 2, I believe.
Yeah, it's like the Oliver House. It's now office buildings, office units. I'm like, which is unfortunate because that house is beautiful, and I can't imagine it being office space now.
Have you ever done like been on a ship or anything like that?
No, not yet.
That's something I think I want to.
I
wanna
tried to get
try.
us on the
Yeah.
USS Salem, but we couldn't get there.
Yeah.
It was on my list to do the USS Queen Mary there.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since TAPS had their evidence messed with, that kind of they were. It was on TAPS Ghost Hunters, and they were investigating it. Somebody snuck in and messed with one of their cameras.
Oh, that would be fun to investigate, though.
I know. Yeah, on the National Foray in New Jersey, there on a battleship.
Yeah, we thought about going to that. It was last fall, but it's another one we couldn't get to.
Yeah, we wanted to go to, but we had just back to get that long trip to Gettysburg, which was only supposed to be a 14-hour drive that turned into 21 hours.
Oh boy. Yeah. Mm-mm.
All the accidents, and then we hit that rain, that hurricane coming up. So driving through the mountains of Pennsylvania, it was just nothing but fog.
Yeah, it's when you just pull over and spend the night somewhere else.
Right. We finally got in at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
I'd be taking a hotel detour.
Yeah. I'd be like, sorry guys, I need a nap. I need sleep.
I wanted to go camp on the battlefield. Someone dropped me off on the battlefield and spend the night out there.
Just go Army Corps there.
We're gonna do the camping, aren't we? In Fort Knox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you just camp right out.
Yeah, I pitch a tent right on the center field
Mhm.
in the fort, and then get a very quick nap before sunrise.
Yep.
Well, you sleep a little sunrise, just enough to be able to get home.
Greg said he missed where you were from.
We're from New Hampshire.
Southern New Hampshire, yeah. I grew up in Mass, though.
Southern New Hampshire is basically extended Mass.
Extended
Yeah,
Mass.
we're like 45 minutes from Boston.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, way up in the Northeast.
You guys probably hate the Yankee fans up there, too, probably.
There's quite a few out here.
Yeah.
I know you walk in Massachusetts wearing Yankee gear, and they're all over you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like same way if you go to New York wearing Red Sox stuff, you're gonna catch some looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always give my uncle that. He's a Boston fan, and he lives in New York.
Yeah.
Mm.
Nobody in our house is actually roots for any Boston teams. Yeah, I don't know.
My household is all like Boston, New England.
Yep.
I am not a
Not
sports
my-
person, so it doesn't faze me.
Yep.
Dark myth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Myth is old.
all kids are very unforgiving on the ship.
There's got to be some good history. Yeah. It's like shipyards, all and lobstermen, anything would be really
There's
cool.
that old like naval fort shipyard kind of thing off the coast of Portsmouth. But it is very condemned and full of black mold, and humans cannot go in there anymore because it is deemed very unsafe. But that would be a super cool place to
Well, even like the
a
old
camera on
buildings,
the inside of. Mhm.
you got to be very careful because of this.
Yeah, I don't plan on bringing into there.
We don't break in anywhere.
No.
Just one time.
Don't tell the internet that.
Yeah, you never want to do that.
Nope.
long ago. No, we always go places.
But you see too many of these YouTubers, these urban explorers do that.
I'm always scared to do that because you never know who's there, if there's going to be any like homeless people or juggies, or if you accidentally wander onto somebody's property, and people are very about their guns up here. So I'd rather not get shot accidentally.
They are here in Missouri too.
Yeah.
Like we're not too far from. I don't know if you guys ever heard of the Copeland murders, Ray and Faye Copeland.
Mm-mm.
It's vaguely familiar.
They're the Missouri serial killers.
Ooh.
Ray was he was a farmer, and he would take in all these drifters to work for him. Well, he was writing checks in their names for cattle. When the checks bounced, these people would find out about it. These drifters, he would take them in a barn and shoot them, and then dispose of the bodies, and then take their clothes, and his wife would make quilts out of the clothes.
Oh, that's a bit morbid.
Well, one guy managed to escape. One of the drifters made it up north and called the cops on him. They came down and they picked up Ray and Faye and locked them up. Faye would not speak a word about it. She finally got out on parole, and he never talked again, and he ended up in a nursing home. And he died. Well, their house is still in the Copeland family. The son owns it. You will get shot.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Damn.
Not a place to be.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, he's not very friendly.
Wow.
Which I don't blame him for that way, because of the way his parents were. Everybody's wanting to come out there and check it out, see if they can uncover the mystery of where the bodies are at. They found some of them, but not all of them.
So yeah, it's hard not to want to solve mysteries.
Same with Slagles. We got Slagles out here too. Another one too. Slagle Cemetery. He murdered 5 of his wives.
Maybe that's a mystery I don't want to solve.
Why
I
would
mean,
you
just
want to
don't marry
marry?
him, should be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Don't marry him.
He was a judge, so they didn't have no evidence to convict him. They found one wife hanging from the mill bridge. The 6th wife that he married, he didn't murder her, but her brother found out that what he was doing, and he come up to kill Slagle. Well, Slagle got the drop on him, shot him, and buried him in the road. They never did find his body. And you go up to that cemetery where he's buried, you'll get run out of there by the lady that lives up the road, because her daughter's buried in that cemetery. Her daughter was killed by her ex-boyfriend. She was riding with her friends, and her ex-boyfriend had been drinking. They had just broken up, and he T-boned the vehicle, killing her instantly. So her mom had her buried in that cemetery right there, so she could be close by.
Mm-hmm.
We've investigated out there, and we've actually captured that lady's daughter on EVP.
Oh.
He's not happy being there in that cemetery.
Yeah.
Lego haunts the place. His sons haunt the place up there at the cemetery. We've captured him on Spirit Box.
So if you ever go to a cemetery and you've captured EVPs of people's like children and family members, have you ever told the actual family member?
No, we didn't want to bring up any, especially with that lady. We didn't want to bring up any past history, whether we don't know what her belief system is as far as paranormal, which I can understand why she's throwing people out. kids go up there all the time to check out
Yeah.
the legend of Mr. Slagle. So
Yeah. It's understandable.
that's another cemetery. Slate Cemetery is the same way too. Kids go up there because they heard the urban legend of the blue light, screams in the cemetery. So we went up there to try to debunk it, and we were able to debunk most of it except for the blue light. And they say your car won't start if you see the blue light. Well, we saw the blue light, and our car started.
We have
But
a few. There's a few cemeteries around here that have a lot of activity, but because of that, so many people have gone now. So the police are heavily checking it out after dusk.
Yeah, like they're very strict about
They're very strict.
closes at sundown.
Yeah, just because of that particular reason. They're so well known for activity.
Well, Slate Cemetery, we had a digital recorder laying on one of the stones, and we walked away from it. And in the audio, you can hear us in the back of the cemetery doing a spirit box session. Well, you hear something walk up to the recorder and shut it off.
Hmm.
And the cemetery is so small, we would have seen somebody come up there.
Yeah. And chances of somebody even knowing how to turn them off so quickly is
Yep.
pretty slim too.
Did
You
we
can
get
hear
at the cemetery that we went to? Where was that?
The Conjuring House.
The Conjuring.
Yeah.
Okay.
Behind the Conjuring House is a cemetery that
Okay.
we did investigate for a little while. We got a frog.
Yeah,
We got a frog.
There's a little bit of flashlight activity, music
Yeah.
box.
Yeah.
Hot smells like that too. You'll get a lot of the crickets sounding off because it's right near the creek.
Yeah. It was just funny because when I was reviewing the footage, Ashley was like, "Is there someone over here? I can hear
I
somebody."
thought it was
over
like a
here."
squirrel or something because I was like, I keep hearing rustling. What is
Right.
over here? And then we reviewed the footage. There was a little frog just hopping along.
But Hans Mill, if you go on the anniversary of the massacre, is when you really get the activity out there. We went, and the massacre happened the night before Halloween. It was that day.
Oh, good time to go anyway.
Yeah, and it picked up activity. We brought 2 new members with us, and one's never been on an actual paranormal investigation. And she was standing there, and this figure standing right behind her. I turned and I looked at it, and I didn't want to tell her. She happened to turn around and look, and there it is standing on top of her, and she started crying.
Oh.
I mean,
And it was like
come over
we were
here,
getting
don't look behind
surrounded.
you.
We were surrounded that night. It was like we couldn't even move. We had motion lights setting on all the tree stumps, and every one of them were going off. My millimeter and REM pod were going off, and this is just an open field. There's no electricity in there.
Yeah.
And it was just an all-out crazy night. I captured it on video. Then we're walking back, and we hear somebody whistle to us. And that new girl that never been on there, my one member and I, we turned around and looked. She's like, "Don't turn around and look. That's just like another horror movie." I'm like,
I love bringing new people.
this is what we do. We're gonna turn and look.
Yep.
Somebody whistles at us, you're gonna turn and look and see what it is. Greg said with the frog, there must have been a witch nearby.
Possibly.
I mean, there is like old, I don't know, like history, not necessarily history, but like wives' tales that there's like a witch involved at the Conjuring House.
Oh yeah, Bathsheba Sherman.
Mhm.
Yeah, but she.
Wasn't it like debunked?
It was
that
debunked.
was like
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
not the case, and that was another like movie related thing.
She got a bad rap because of the movie.
Yeah, Hollywood needed a villain for that movie, so
Mhm.
they kind of put Bathsheba in it.
Yeah.
But there is real no. I know Lorraine had picked up on her being there, but I don't think. And I know she was accused of witchcraft. They say she was in witchcraft, boy dying and stuff like that. But
Yeah, I think she was just misunderstood. I don't think
history's been changed so many times, it's been rewritten, and
It's like the Salem
Well,
witch trials.
let's-
Everybody thought there is witches, and it's like these are just women you're burning.
Yeah. Well, with
Right.
the Bathsheba Sherman, because of the movie, her gravestone
Vandalized.
got
and-
vandalized.
yeah, I saw they put a new one up finally again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they put it up or did they keep it? Do something? I forget what they did.
I saw somebody share a picture of it. It looks like it's
It's
new.
not on the site though, is it?
I don't know, because that one that we saw, the broken one where it was just the base, that was still there, but it was behind it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they just added a completely new one
did.
or if
They-
that was just a footstone.
They got a new one. They got a new one made.
Well, also a lot of them old stones, they will break off at the base. We've got a lot of those old ones out here that break
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually had to pick a few of them up in the cemetery and set them back up on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not taken care of. They're just so old.
Yeah. We find a lot of cemeteries out here that don't have a caretaker and they're overgrown. And
Yeah. There's a few of those around here too. You don't even know that they're there.
well, at Hancock, New York, the big cemetery up there, we investigated that. And I ended up stumbling upon a Civil War cemetery back in the woods that wasn't even maintained. I found old stones, and they were all Civil War soldiers.
Oh wow. That's nice. It's nice it's still there.
Yep. And my friend contacted the caretakers of it and told them about it, that we found it back there, and now they take care of it. They go back there and clean the leaves out of there, and they trim the trees.
Yeah. We should we did check out a cemetery before though. We didn't investigate it.
Oh, up on that trail.
No. Not in Maine.
We stopped by one, didn't we?
We did, but the
Before-
one I'm thinking of is the one when we went to the penitentiary.
Oh, I know you're talking
That really
about.
old one.
Mhm. Yeah, I do not know the name of it.
Yeah.
It was next to some like ruin across the street, though. That was super cool. It was,
Right.
like, a mini castle that was all like graffitied.
Yeah.
It was a really cool cemetery because it was pretty big and expansive, and it was like built into a
beautiful.
hillside, so there was different layers to it.
It was
it was-
beautiful.
Imagine trying to
Mm.
walk up that if it was weather like we have up here right now, just snow and ice everywhere.
And then the crypts were built into the hill,
Mm-hmm.
so there was some cracks in the top. So I stuck my phone in there and took a picture. I just had to see what it looked like.
Oh, I'm guilty of that too. We've got some of the ones that got the holes in the doors from the 1800s. I've in them with flashlights.
I'm like, if I drop my phone in here, it's gone for good.
Yeah, no getting that.
No,
I guess it's better than sticking a person in there.
I just
Can I
needed. I
by
just
your
needed to
feet?
see.
The hole is this.
It was
big.
this the whole.
No, I
thing.
mean like you have a picture of Maddie
Oh, climbing through the
hanging out of
window.
a window, sacrificing
Let me know what you see in there. Good luck.
the new people to.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in one of them. The smell in there is probably with all that musty smell, and there's probably mold in them. And
Yeah, we went to a place up in Laconia, and some of those buildings. Well, you weren't supposed to go in them, but smelled really bad.
No.
well, that's that hotel we
Business
did too.
class.
Same thing. The roof leaked. It was black mold in there, and
Yeah,
Mm.
she had 4 kids one night break in there, and they were playing with a Ouija board in there, and they were vandalizing the place. Well, the cops caught 3 of them. The other one managed to hide, and they never found him. We were up there working on the hotel, the roof for her, and we were going to investigate that night. We're standing on the sidewalk talking to the owner, and here's this kid. He's pacing back and forth. He walked past us like 3 times, and then finally gets the courage to come up to us and ask which one's the owner. And the lady goes, "I am." He goes, "Well, I'm one of the kids that broke in here. I want to apologize." And she asked him, "How long you been coming in here?" He says, "I've been in here probably about 10 times. I've spent several nights in here by myself."
It's brave
Okay,
kid.
nope.
And she says to the kid, she's like, "You're a little shit." And And I took the kid in there and I said, come with me. I took him in there and I showed him where the roof is all leaking and the beams are falling down. I said, you see all this? You get in here by yourself. The owner doesn't come down here all the time. You're telling your mom you're at a friend's house. Beam falls on your head and you're laying there. You're going to die in here. And nobody's going to find you till you're rotted.
Yep.
I said, you need to stay out of here. You want to come in here, you ask permission. Don't just break in here.
Yeah.
Nobody knows where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
And then he ended up bringing me his Ouija board.
Yeah.
And we got rid of it.
Good.
Yeah.
I was
That
like,
happens at the homestead a lot in Saratoga.
Mm-hmm.
People break in there a lot too
Oh, yeah, the
and
trash.
ruin it and set fires and
Knock down walls.
knock down walls. It's awful.
oh yeah, them urban explorers that want to go in there and party and they think it's a good party place, they just destroy
Yeah.
stuff. We tried to get in Macon, Missouri. We tried to get into a poor farm up there to investigate. I spoke to the city about it. Kids went in there and vandalized it, so they weren't letting nobody in. They respected that I asked permission, that I didn't just go up there and hop the fence and go in. And I says, I will never do that. I'm not going to do that, trespass on property like that without permission. I want permission to go in. That ruins it for the rest of everybody else.
Right.
And
It's unfortunate. It's hard to get in places because of that.
yeah, we had a hotel back in New York where I used to work at the golf course. Kids would break in there all the time. It was abandoned. My boss and I have been through there running kids out of there left and right. We caught one guy up on the roof of the one house stealing copper off of it. Caught a bunch of kids in there skateboarding one day too, and there was a homeless guy living in there,
Yeah.
and he had a baseball bat for anybody that came in.
Yeah,
And
it's a scary thing.
he would show up at night. He would never be there during the day when you'd walk in there, but I ended up taking his baseball bat out of there in case my boss or myself or one of the other guys come walking in there and we don't get attacked with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
Then we finally caught him. My boss and I were staking out. We were down by there and we seen him go in and called the sheriff's department. And they came up. They went and escorted him out of there.
Mm.
And I mean, in that hotel, there was nothing to walk and you'd fall through the floor. And that hotel was probably actually, no, it was more than that. It was about 16 floors.
Oh God. Yeah.
There's a big hole that drops straight down from the 16th floor all the way to the basement.
It's dangerous.
So you had to be careful when you walk.
Yeah.
I know sometimes, especially as women, we kind of let that. We don't really think about that stuff.
I think
We're
about that.
so
I-
like you do.
Speak for
I'm
yourself.
so gung
I'm
ho.
a tiny person.
Well, a lot of times I go off on my own, so
Yeah.
my curiosity gets the best of me.
As long as like a place that I'm familiar with, I know, or like that I know is secure, I have no worries for like
Mhm.
wandering. But definitely like any place where like literally anybody in the public could like show up here, or we have to worry about like any strangers. There's always that like consciousness of being like, be aware of your surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you never know, especially if you're going off by yourself. See, in my group, I don't allow it. We use the buddy system because for situations like that, especially if you get partially possessed and you're by yourself. Once you're partially possessed, you have no control of your body or of anything. You're wandering around, you don't know who you are, and it leads you down into a hole somewhere and you fall to your death.
Well,
Well, the thing is,
get me a taller leash.
well, you're swift. Sometimes we turn around and you're just gone.
It's like when we were at Wilson, we were like, where's Lisa? And your kid looks out the window and goes, she's walking down the street. You're like at the bottom of the driveway, just wandering, and we're like, "Where's she going? There's nothing down there."
Especially
It's there.
you get attacked and nobody's there.
Yeah. What if a bear comes out of the woods at you?
I am afraid of bears.
2 people together is better than one, especially if they know you good and they know when you start to change, if your eyes are starting to change or your face is starting to change, to get you out of there. If you're by yourself and you start doing that, there's no way to know. Then you're wandering off somewhere else and nobody can find you.
That's right. That's you. The lone wolf over here.
No, it's not scaring the crap. It's actually opening eyes and teaching. More
Mhm.
educating than scaring.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
That cemetery with the skinwalker, I had a member wander off on her own and went towards the woods until she heard something coming at her.
Mm.
And then in like 2 seconds, she was hiding right behind me. And that same night, I almost got killed in that cemetery. I almost got stabbed by a fence post through my stomach.
Oh, gosh.
I got lured up to it. We heard a noise up there, and I walked up there with another guy. And if it wasn't for him, I was that close to getting a fence post impaled into my stomach.
Jeez.
That
Yeah,
skinwalker lured me up there to kill me.
we haven't had many injuries. I just walk into things a lot, and I got stung by bees.
Oh yeah.
Don't catch me wandering alone in the woods. I don't need to be eaten by a coyote or a bear or gets trampled on by a deer. I'll avoid all that. Thank you very much.
Remember when we were afraid of a deer?
Deer won't bother you. They'll run from you, but
We couldn't see anything.
I'm only scared of deer because I've had nightmares that they've come and stomped on me.
We didn't know what it was at first. We could just hear it, and then all of a sudden on our camera, we just see 2 eyes. We're at Fairfield, I think. Oh, we're at Fairfield in the woods.
We were trying to find the cemetery marker, right? The grave marker. Yeah, I remember that now.
And we're walking in the pitch black.
We're like, what is that?
I just see like 2 eyes.
Just glowing in the distance. And we're like, what is that? And then we figured out it was a deer, and we're like, okay, let's leave that alone. Let's go back.
that's where you get a thermal. Get a thermal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were
We
just
used-
walking.
We used one at Slagle's, and we captured a figure standing down on the edge of the woods by a tree. And there was deer out there, too. And you could see the deer in the thermal, and you could see this human figure, and the deer weren't even acknowledging it. Deer didn't even see it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We need a thermal.
I thought you had a thermal.
Mm-mm.
What am I thinking of?
We have night vision binoculars,
Oh,
but we
okay.
don't have thermal.
Full spectrum is another good camera.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we've got those. I like those better than night vision.
Yeah.
I think my camera is full spectrum when it works. My camera stopped working at our last investigation, and I still have not figured out how to get it to work again.
Reach out to Supernatural Inc. KD. He's the paranormal mad scientist. He's the one that develops all the ink boxes and spirit boxes. So if you ever need a good spirit box, reach out to Supernatural Inc.
Good to know.
Yep.
KD builds a reverse sweep ink box that everything is swept in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no chance of getting radio coming through. He does shortwave, so you have no radio coming through.
Right. Yeah, I've seen those online.
He builds all kinds of ghost boxes. He built a karaoke machine ghost box.
You can see him lugging a karaoke machine with us.
Oh my God.
I mean, we do sing a lot.
We do sing a lot, yes.
Yeah, it's even got the disco ball right up on top of it, too.
Perfect.
Yep. Definitely would be boogieing down then.
Austin Maynard's another good one that builds a lot of cool stuff, too.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to go ahead and wrap the show if you guys want to hang backstage for a few minutes.
Sure.
I'm going to close the show out. Thank you guys for joining me tonight.
Thanks for
Yeah,
having
thank
us.
you.
If people want to get a hold of you for like events, paracons, anything like that, how can they get a hold of you guys?
Yep.
Yeah, you can find us. We have a Facebook page, Wayward Spirits Paranormal Society. We also have an Instagram, and we just started up a YouTube channel. So we'll post there occasionally. We'll chime in, but maybe you'll see us attending a con.
Yep.
All right.
We will be there.
I thank you guys again for coming on the show. If you guys ever want to do a part 2, feel free to reach out to me and we'll do a part 2.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to put you backstage in a few minutes.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you guys for joining me tonight and hanging in there with me for almost 2.5 hours. And it was a good show. Great guests. And hope you all have a good night. Stay safe out there. Stay humble. And we will see you again next week. Same time, same channel. And we're off.